Good morning, Oxford News. This is your host, Grady Smith, and today's top story is the release of a new take on the popular Greek myth Daedalus and Icarus. Oxford News has received exclusive rights to the adaptation, and we will be the first to air this adaptation before its official release tomorrow. So go ahead and find a nice place to sit and enjoy listening. Once upon a time, there were two brothers who loved to play pranks on people. They mostly just set up small pranks around their house to catch their parents or each other. But the younger of the two, Ike, always seemed to get carried away, and because of this, he would often get into trouble. Dave, who was the older of the two, always knew when to stop and hardly ever got into trouble for his pranks. The two brothers would keep at their pranks for a while until they would eventually get bored and decide that they wanted to do something bigger. They thought and thought until Ike had an idea. He wanted to TP their neighbor's house. Dave, being the more sensible of the two, was worried they would get caught and wasn't sure about the idea. Ike, however, had already gotten to work planning out the prank. He gathered up enough toilet paper rolls and planned to get one of his friend's houses who lived down the street that night. Whenever night fell, he went over to Dave's room to wake him up so they could head out. But when Ike woke Dave up, Dave did not want to go. He told Ike that he still didn't think it was a good idea and told Ike that he was pushing their pranks too far. He told Ike, if we get caught, Dad is going to kill us and we will never be ungrounded, and asked, what is your friend going to think if he figures out it was you who did it? Ike told him it wasn't that serious and it was only a prank, but he didn't have to help if he didn't want to. Annoyed that Dave had backed out, Ike headed to the house, TP in hand, and ran down the street to where their friend Will lived. He stood behind a bush and lobbed roll after roll. Once he was done, he ran back down the street, only to see his porch lights on, and he immediately knew one of his parents was up. He tried to sneak back in from the back door, but his dad was waiting in the living room, and he knew now that he had pushed his luck too far. Now thinking about what Dave had told him, and wishing he had listened, he walked in as his father started to yell at him, asking him where he had been and what he thought he was doing. Ike knew that his dad would put two and two together in the morning, so he went ahead and told him what he had done. Infuriated, his dad told him that he was grounded from everything until next year, and would have to apologize to his friend's family the next morning. When he did so, his friend's parents were quite angry, and didn't want Will to hang out with Ike anymore, and also made him clean up the mess. Ike would spend the rest of his summer cleaning toilet paper off his neighbor's roof and stuck at home, while Dave made out unscathed. Well, folks, let us know what you think, and be sure to get a copy of the adaptation tomorrow before they sell out. As always, thank you for tuning into Oxford News, and we'll see you next week.